After years of being CrossFit adjacent, making content online, as well as working with gyms, earlier this year, I made the career pivot and forcibly becoming a CrossFit coach. I think over the years, I kind of delayed and put this off, mainly because I thought this would be a pretty overwhelming experience, having to learn how to teach the methodology as well as having to manage other people. But I've come to realize that this has probably been one of the most enlightening and fulfilling chapters I've ever experienced. So here are 3 different lessons I've learned over the last 6 months that hopefully or maybe might encourage you to take the plunge into becoming a CrossFit coach or coaching in the health and fitness space in general. And lesson number 1 is that coaching is going to reveal more and more of your areas for growth. I quickly learned that coaching really acts as a mirror for your own shortcomings. When you're on the floor coaching athletes and when you're done with class, you quickly come to realize areas that you might have been able to communicate something a little bit more eloquently, maybe explain the methodology a little bit differently, just all of these little small areas that you could have done things better. And while initially that seems like a very daunting task or something to worry about, the reality is I think that it gives you an opportunity, so long as nobody's getting injured and people are progressing in a positive direction, to improve how you explain things and improve how you deliver things to the athletes that you're communicating with. It gives you a chance to reiterate and do better next time, which is really honestly how a lot of life operates. And lesson number 2 is that most people just want a good workout. The truth is that most people are not chasing a podium at the games or trying to be the most competitive athlete that they can possibly be. The reality is that most people are battling the everyday stresses of life that are more than enough than trying to get on a podium. I'm talking about things like managing a family, managing a job, cooking, little things that we all do and add up over time to create a heightened sense of stress that a lot of the times we end up going to negative vices to try to escape from the reality of the situation. And not just for athletes, but for all of us that participate in this sport, the reality is that for a lot of us, we came to the sport to relieve that pressure that we experience in everyday, day-to-day life. We come here to train and to practice doing hard things so that we can go back into the world and handle those things that we encounter on a day-to-day basis. And most of the time, a lot of us just want to turn our brains off and get a good workout. And as human beings, this is a natural function of how we operate. We try to find the path of least resistance, or we try to find ways to alleviate stress. That's why people play video games. That's why people turn to alcohol. That's why people do so many different things. And so as coaches or gyms, it's a place where people can go to find relief, but also be empowered and strengthened to go back into their day-to-day lives and be better human beings. Lesson number 3, enthusiasm is contagious, and energy actually matters, not just in coaching, but in every single aspect of our lives. And when you show genuine enthusiasm for the things that you do, the things that you have passion for, that brings people in. It creates an opportunity for conversations. And the more that you indulge in the things that give you passion or light that fire, the more that gives other people the opportunity in this space to indulge in the things that they find passionate. And they're able to reflect on what it is that they're doing, and they can take that out into the world and interact with whoever it is that they're interacting with and light that fire and share that with other people. But if you show up to a class and you are very monotone, you're not energetic, you're not loud, those kinds of things people pick up on. And I have to admit that as an introvert, as I started coaching, a lot of those things have been things that I'm learning to work through and get over and be more enthusiastic and be more open and be more expressive with my communication. And so to zoom out with all of this, at the end of the day, all of these lessons, while yes, you can learn them at the gym, you can learn them anywhere really, and they transcend outside of the gym. They're really basic life principles. And for myself, particularly over the last year, my life and my career has changed so much so in a way to where I'm, forced to be in this constant state of change and to take a step back and be a little bit more humble and listen more. And it gives me the opportunity to interact with people and to listen to people and to hear their stories and to connect with people in ways that I didn't necessarily have in the past because, my career was more tech, Silicon Valley, remote working, things of that nature. And an even bigger fundamental idea is that at the end of the day, we're all really the same. We're all dealing with the same struggles and the same battles, just interpreted in different scenarios. But at the end of the day, we're all using these tools to find relief from stress and become better human beings. And, a lot of the reasons why I create content on this channel really comes down to that, is to help other people and to inspire people to create or lift or just change their lives in positive ways. And so I share the things that I do in a way and in hopes to help inspire other people. So with that being said, guys, as always, I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. Are you a coach? Have you thought about being a CrossFit coach? What is stopping you? What is inspiring you? I'd love to hear that in the comments below. But as always, may your coffee be black and your barbells be heavy. That was backwards. I'll see you guys in the next video.